Welcome to today's devotion. I'm Pastor Tim Gerbing from Christ Lutheran Church in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Today we'll spend a few minutes in the book of Daniel, reading from Daniel chapter 2, verses 31 to 35, and then we're going to skip down to verses 44 and 45. Daniel is speaking here, and he says, "Your Majesty looked, and there before you stood a large statue, an enormous, dazzling statue, awesome in appearance. The head of the statue was made of pure gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of baked clay. While you were watching, a rock was cut out, but not by human hands. It struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay and smashed them. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were all broken to pieces and became like chaff on a threshing floor in the summer. The wind swept them away without leaving a trace. But the rock that struck the statue became a huge mountain and filled the earth. In the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. It will crush all those kingdoms and bring them to an end, but it will itself endure forever. This is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out of a mountain, but not by human hands. A rock that broke the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold to pieces. The great God has shown the king what will take place in the future. The dream is true, and its interpretation is trustworthy." The great conqueror Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, ruled a powerful, wealthy, and glorious empire. And one night, he had a dream that troubled him. None of his magicians had opportunity to interpret it for him because Nebuchadnezzar required that first they had to tell him what he had dreamed. It sounds a little bit strange, but it was Nebuchadnezzar's way of being certain that the magicians were giving an accurate interpretation of his dream, because he was thinking that if they could tell him the dream, that meant that the Babylonian gods must have revealed it to his magicians, and then he would be able to trust their interpretation. Well, of course, none of these magicians were able to do that, and Nebuchadnezzar ended up having a royal temper tantrum. He sentenced the magicians and their families to death. Daniel was trained as one of Babylon's magicians. So an officer was sent to execute him and his other Jewish friends too. Daniel asked for a little time because he thought he might be able to interpret the dream. They gave him some time. He went home, he prayed with his Jewish friends, and that night, lo and behold, God revealed the dream and its interpretation to Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar was so amazed after Daniel told him his dream and its interpretation that Nebuchadnezzar himself bowed before this young Daniel. He praised Daniel's God. He even made Daniel ruler of one of Babylon's provinces. Daniel made it clear that it was really God who interpreted Nebuchadnezzar's dream, not him. And what God had revealed to Daniel is, in fact, still in force to this day, and it will remain in force until the end of time. Nebuchadnezzar's dream foretold that Babylon would eventually be overthrown by Persia, which in turn would be overthrown by the Greeks under Alexander the Great, which would eventually be overthrown by Rome. But as powerful as Rome would be, it too would be overthrown, not by another earthly kingdom, but by God's hand. And this kingdom would never be overthrown. In fact, it would fill the entire world. You and I and every person who believes in Jesus Christ belong to that kingdom that rock that was carved out of the mountain. Jesus began his reign on Easter. His rule is found in the hearts of all who believe in him. His is the one and only kingdom that will not only survive the last day, but will also destroy for good every other kingdom and rule. Your king is Jesus Christ. His gracious rule will continue forever. Cherish all that God has done for us through his Son, Jesus Christ. Cherish the life that Jesus lived for you, the death that he suffered for you, the resurrection that he won for you, and the eternal kingdom that he created and rules forever for you. Cherish that more than anything or anyone. Amen.